נכון?
נכון.
אוקיי.
גם לנו יש 27.
אני אנסה לחבר את הפייסבוק.
אז רק תזכרו שמעכשיו שומעים אותנו כל מי שמצטרף.
כן, מצטרפים. אתם רואות למטה כבר 13. אז אני משתיקה את עצמי.
תמי.
כן.
כמה זמן זה?
השיחה?
כן.
היא לרוב בין 45 דקות לשעה. כי אנחנו רואים גם כמה שאלות עולות מהצ'אט של המשתתפים. ואני חושבת שגם מהשאלות שלנו יש, שעבדנו עליהן, הן מכסות בשקט גמור, גם אפשר יותר.
בסדר.
שומעים אותי עוד בסדר?
כן, כן, אני שומעים אותך מצוין.
כן, אני שומעת הד.
I
hear an echo.
את
חייבת לצאת.
עכשיו?
כן, את חייבת לצאת מזה. You'll just have to sit next to me within correct distancing, but you'll sit with us.
צריך לשים מסכה כחלק מהפסאדה היום.
כן, אצלנו, כן, אם מספר אנשים באותו חדר, אז מחויבים במסכה, אבל דלית ואני עדיין עומדות אם זה שני אנשים ואנחנו שומרות על מרחק, אז זה לא צריכה להיות בעיה.
אני לבד בבית, זה בסדר.
כן, אז זה בטוח לא... למרות שאתמול מאוד הופתעתי, הלכתי לפארק, לגן בוטני, כמובן בחוץ ועם מרחק מאנשים, והרבה מאוד אנשים, אני רוצה להגיד כמעט כולם, היו עם מסכות בחוץ כששמרנו מרחק, וזה קצת הפתיע אותי.
תקשיבי, אני הייתי בבני ברק, את צריכה לראות איזה היסטריה יש שם. וואו.
ממש מקפידים?
ממש. לא יכולה להיכנס לחנות בלי כפפות, בלי זה, ומכניסים אנשים ופוחדים.
כן, צריך לגמור עם זה. לא, נכון? אני מתחילה, כי אני מתחילה. I'm going to switch to English now. We were discussing Corona in Israel, and we'll get to hear a lot more from Yafa Zilbershutz. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. My name is Tammy Benheim. I'm the Minister for Public Diplomacy here at the Embassy of Israel. And I'm very honored and delighted that we got the chance to host Professor Yafa Zilbershutz, the chair of the Planning and Budgeting Committee at the Israeli Council for Higher Education. Yafa oversees the policy-making and development of the Israeli higher education system, including major national initiatives in fields such as quantum technologies, data science, digital learning, entrepreneurship in academia, inclusion and diversity, and many other issues. Professor Zilbershutz has served as the Deputy President of Bar-Ilan University from May of 2010 until October of 2015, and as the Dean of the Faculty of Law at the university between 2004 and 2007. Professor Zilbershutz is a legal teacher and scholar and specializes in international human rights and constitutional law. And I myself and the person who's in charge of academic affairs at the embassy, Dalit Balsel, have had the pleasure of cooperating with Yafa and with her team to promote Israeli higher education in the US and cooperation in higher education. And I am thrilled and I'm really looking forward to hearing some of her insights in this age of Corona and how it's affecting and where higher education in Israel in general is, where it's headed now in general and with and under the effects of Corona. So welcome first, Professor Zilberschatz. It really is a great pleasure.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be with all of you in the modern way of Zoom.
Yeah, we still hope that soon you will come here, but for now.
Yeah, I was supposed to.
Yeah, you were supposed to be, and we had a lot of things planned, and hopefully we'll do them. But if it's okay, I will dive straight in and start with our first question.
Kindly, sure.
Israel was very quick to implement regulation of social distancing and other measures when it came to fighting the corona pandemic. Can you tell us a bit about how the higher education system in Israel, which is based on campus life of students coming into the classrooms, how did they respond to the situation?
Yes, I'll gladly do that. And first of all, let me just start when Corona happened, and actually we got very fast to the understanding that a big change has to happen. We put a goal, and the goal was open semester, the second semester, and finish it, which means just to let you understand, in Israel, we don't have the same times of semesters like in the United States. In the United States, you start the year in the fall semester end of August, correct? And you really finish it. Christmas is also, you go back, and then by April, May, it's over, exams, and then you start again at the end of August. We start 2 months later. So we go from November to the end of February. And then we really, in the mid of March, we start our second semester. Now, if you just understand, mid of March was really the days that the semester had to open. It was next to Passover, just a little bit before, and we had to open the semester. So we said, first of all, we want to open the semester and we want to finish the semester. Now here, there were really a collaboration of strong and good forces to make it happen. First of all, the institutions themselves. We have in Israel 61 higher education institutions. We have 8 research universities, we have an open universities, we have colleges budgeted by the government, we have private colleges. All of them, but all of them were on board to really get the axioma that the semester has to open and has to close. And they all did tremendous work, and they really made it possible to happen. So in that direction, if we really want to say, I want to really have a big gratitude to all our presidents of universities and colleges that really took the responsibility to prepare themselves that if they cannot open a regular semester, they're going to really teach from a remote learning. Now, what made it happen to make it possible, up to a possibility that almost 100% of the courses were able, the teachers were able to teach all of them online, and have remote learning. How did this happen? So it had some reasons that really made it possible. First of all, we in the planning, we have a planning and budgeting committee that really foresees the policy of all higher education in Israel. And we are budgeted, and we budget most of the system. It is quite a social country with quiet, almost free higher education. Is very different from the United States. All our best universities are supported by the government, and tuition is very, very low in Israel. Up to $3,000 a year, even if you study in medical school or law school, okay? So within our 6-year plan that we have for the policy, we put digital learning as one of our agendas, okay? We really came and said, we want the institutions to really improve the method of teaching and to use the new world and everything that we have and all the knowledge and all the capacity that we have within the digitation of this 21st century and to use it. And we did support the universities with money to come and do it. Now, if it's regular life, you do it by evolution. You discuss, you make committees, you choose the programs, you know how things go when life is like, you know, you have the luxury and you have discussions, is it good, is it bad? But altogether, they were in the direction of trying it. And they had all the technology and all the ideas how they can use technology to do it, because this was supported by the government. If they were to do it, they got money. So then in a very revolutionary manner, just the minute that they had the opportunity to do it, and they had to, I wanted to say in English, they had a must. I don't know how to say it in English. You must do it. They had a must to do it. It was not discretion. Shall we do it? Do we have an option? You want to have the semester? Come on, do it. And then the discussions of the teachers, they like it, they don't like it, they had no opportunity, okay? So in the direction, we really made it happen. And all of them, and all of them in like 100% really had the possibility to do it. Okay, so I think so. It's, if I say the institutions, their responsibility, and the 6-year plan that was really in this direction made it all possible to be. Another thing that I wanted to mention in this direction is something also very interesting about what happened in Israel in the coronavirus. And I think that actually the policy by the state was run by the government, by 2 ministries, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance, because it had both health and economic implications. And then what happened was that, in this sense, what happened was that we, since we really are a governmental body, we could really execute the messages from all higher education institutions vis-a-vis the government. Okay, so Hebrew University and Tel Aviv University and Bar Ilan University and Tel Chai College, if they are there, how can they get and really speak to the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Finance to say, we need this, we need that? In that way, I think it's the preparation and our capacity vis-a-vis the government really to bring all the messages into the government made it possible really to make it a very big success.
Thank you for that. And it's interesting that you said, and I wonder what the foresight was to start the digitalizing process, and why, when campus life is so active, you would start doing digital before the need. But how what equipment or what needed to change for the professors and the universities in order to implement this so quickly, the digital online? What practical things did you do to allow this to happen?
So first of all, in that direction, I would give the compliments to the institutions and won't take it upon myself. Everything that had to do before the corona and vis-a-vis the government, it's us. But anything that has to do within the institutions, it's the institutions. And actually, they were very adjustable and open. What they did, I spoke to their CEOs and I said, what did you do? I mean, fine. I mean, we were helping, we were planning and everything, but you really took it from 100 courses in all to tens of thousands of courses. That really, what did you do? So they said that they took professionals in the computer field and they told them, look for all the technologies that exist. And they really invested money in that. They bought technology, they bought cloud time. They really strengthened the capacity of their computer departments and that really the big computers of the universities so that they can communicate and that the information doesn't fall when everybody is really studying together. And actually, you know, we got like telephones from the Ministry of Communication and they said, we want to help. If the universities needs anything in communication and computation, we will help. And actually, nobody called for assistance.
Wow.
They really made it. I don't know. I mean, it's a miracle. It's a magic. It's a revolution. It's a wow. I mean, it's a why. They really deserve, I mean, I really work very hard now to get them additional funds to really improve that and take it over, and we'll speak about it later, but they were really amazing, and they really got all the technology. And it's very interesting. They also told me, you know what, Yafa, this corona regarding digital learning is actually happening all over the world. Now, we don't have now the knowledge to know what technologies were developed because we were forced to do it. But we promise you that once corona is over and we, go out of the excitement of this crisis, we will find amazing technologies that were developed by people and by institutions, both in Israel and all over the world, really to make this very big revolution within higher education learning, which is really, it's not to believe. Can you understand? There are campuses, there are teachers, the people that don't want to confront any remote contact, and all of a sudden, everybody is teaching. Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, it goes. I think it's part of also, you're right, it's around the world, but it's definitely part of Israeli nature to embrace something that comes to you and do it 100%.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
But you started talking about this, and I would like, if you can, to expand. What are the opportunities or specific opportunities, especially now that we're doing digital learning for these higher education institutions? And it's also, Sylvie wrote us a question, I think it fits in with it. If it's now, is it going to be now mostly e-learning? Would somebody not living in Israel be able to enroll in an Israeli university? Have you started thinking so far ahead?
Yes, everybody does. And I want to say that since we are home and we have quite plenty of time because we don't have to travel and we don't stand in traffic, so my communication with the presidents of universities has been very extensive, quite on a weekly, long teaching. Let me give you a little bit of what's going on in that direction. So let's start from the very beginning, as the song says. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. I do believe, and everybody tends to say, that the day after corona, we go back to life. Teaching in higher education, for sure in Israel, is not going to be as the day before corona. You cannot take such an, I would say, opportunity or such a change that made all courses available in distant learning, just take it and in a minute say, well, now we all go back to classes because it worked well. And some of the people, the teachers and the students and everybody was very fond of it. Now, let's be a little bit critical. I'm the biggest, fan of higher education, and I think the institutions are wonderful and all my friends, the presidents, are perfect. But we all know that some of teaching within universities are a little bit old-fashioned in a way. And you still have those teachers coming with their notes. And in the United States, especially in good universities, they're very disciplined. But the Israelis, they're well known for very good qualifications, but not very much for the discipline, okay? So many of our students don't appear to class, and we really do have some problem, and we don't think the teaching at university is optimistic. It could be really, and when we did all the plan of higher education and digital learning, we really did it because we thought the teaching is not good enough. And that things are changing the world, but teaching in university stands like 500 years before. You have the podium, you have the teacher, you had chalk, now you have a marker, and that's the big change, okay? Now, I think people realize that they do have opportunities. I want to give you an example for myself, okay? I'm teaching a course on international law, okay? It's a very, very debatable, it's a very interesting course. And it's very interesting, especially in Israel. We are quite the creators of all the norms of international law because we have asymmetric war, we have occupied territories, we have Jerusalem, we have the mandate. You want to hear? We're always special, and we're very special in this direction. And there are many issues that the law of international law is being developed through the Israeli Supreme Court. Now, imagine a course of myself that I think, first of all, that I give the students in advance materials to read online and they really prepare it and read. Then let's assume that we want to have a class on the separation fence that they built between the occupied territories and Israel, okay? And we go out to the field and we picture the plan and we all see it, the fence, when we speak about it. And if there are demonstrations, we really see the demonstrations and we speak to the people. And then we discuss it with reality. I think the impact of the course is starting to be much stronger. Or take the issues of Jerusalem. If you really have pictures and if you really have, you know, you really can see it when you speak about it, when you teach it. I mean, there are many, many capacities. And this is a small example from a very, very small world. You can use all designs and all capacity and all new methods. You can teach like 5 minutes and then make a little squeeze to see if the students really understood what you made. And it's in a minute. You know, you have many, many, many possibilities to teach into the new world. And I don't believe that with all the experience and all the revolution, we are going to go back and just, you know, have the teacher and the chalk. We're going to take all the opportunities, all the technologies, all the experience, and create a new world, create a new campus, no question about it. And this is one aspect of the quality of teaching. But there are many, many other aspects to this revolution. First of all, once the things are online, they can be open to the world during day and night. Now they can be open to people while they're students or on a lifelong learning. We all understand that in the new world, people are changing careers, you know, all the Y generation, all the youngsters, they will not stay like us 30 or 40 years in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or myself at Bar-Ilan University for 40 years. I mean, they're going to have a very different life and they will have to make adjustments. Now, if we stick to the old classes with the old full degrees, then in a certain ways, we will not expose all the knowledge to make their life different and changeable. Now, if we take all this technology and we put it online and we make like little, what we call micro degrees, okay, like parts of things, so people can have a long learning, they can study while they are in the army and while they are in yeshiva, and they can, as you said before, they can still have all our knowledge while at home in the United States. And if you have a son or a daughter who is 18 or 19 years old, and you don't want still to send them to Israel because you think they're too young, but while they reach 20 or 21, you will be ready to send them. So they can have half a degree online from Israel, from Hebrew University or from Tel Aviv University. And once, maybe they have a boyfriend, maybe they're gonna get married, maybe you trust them more really to live overseas if they're over 20 and not 17 or 18, and they can have their full degree in Israel. I mean, you cannot foresee the endless opportunity of exposure of knowledge. Now, each and every university is a treasure, and it has endless knowledge and opportunities and excitements. Can you imagine that everyone can teach, and they can touch everything in the world regarding knowledge because it can be online? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's just unbelievable.
That's a very interesting way of seeing it. Of being able to access this knowledge and having it, I guess, forever when it's online, reachable. But can I just ask, would there be a difference, do you think, between the universities or between even schools? Maybe what can be done with the School of Law cannot be done for engineering, or do you think everything will be able to adapt?
Listen, it's an excellent question. I think everything will be able to adapt, each and every other in a different manner, okay? On the other way around, it's very, very interesting. If you take medicine, for example, biology, and things like, you know, when Corona happened, we had a problem with laboratories, okay? You study law, fine. You give your lecture, you speak. If you're an exciting person, so everybody listens to, everything is fine. But if you need to have a course in biology and you need the laboratory for biology, what do you do? So I said, okay, come on, biology probably will not work. Now imagine the imagination. Why did the provost of Tel Aviv University, who was a physicist, very much into digital learning. I said, what do you do with the labs? He said, no problem. I send one person into the lab. Now he is doing the experiment. The students are seeing it from behind. They're not doing the experiment, but they're seeing the experiment. And then we ask questions about this and we hold a discussion. So they even solved laboratory issues. You know, I don't say that you don't need labs and you will study biology without labs, but to a certain way, even this that looks like something, you know, choirs in music. Did you see how they make choirs in music on Zoom? Wow, you can die, you can start crying.
Wow.
Piano lessons you have online. You know, there is a school in Boston that is called Berkeley School of Music. Most of the studies are online for years already. But now everybody realized that you really can have piano classes online. Imagine?
Wow.
So I believe each and every discipline will be able to use it. Now, it will be very different, and I still don't want to say that everything should be online. I think we should use online, but we should also keep the campuses. I call it, let's look at the campus at a new way. When I wanted to come to APEC and I wanted to come to you and I wanted to present Israeli higher education system before the coronavirus, I wanted to speak about how we have to look at the new campus, and I wanted to speak about online learning together with campus learning, enabling people from the United States or all over the world really use online, but still we need the personal interaction. Okay, it's easy for me because now I don't see the wonderful audience that is listening to me, but I see you. And because I know you, it's easier for me to communicate to you. Had I not known you, not met you, not worked with you before. So I was talking to somebody really nice, smiling, beautiful, but still, you know, I don't know you, but I know you, so I can speak to you like I know you. So we still need the human contact, but it will be very, very different.
That you're leading me right to the next question we had about human contact and cooperation. It seems, as you said, you know, Israel is adapting as quickly as it can to the corona. Other higher education institutions are doing the same. And anyway, Israel and the US have been very close partners in research and development. So do you think the digital technologies that are developing now can be leveraged to further these collaborations and create maybe new partnership between Israeli and institutions in the United States?
No question about it. I think that the easing of the using of the remote learning media will ease the possibilities, first of all, in teaching to do collaborations. And I know already some of the universities, especially the strong ones in Israel that have contacts in the United States and in Europe, they work already on mutual degrees, okay? And mutual courses. And now, once if you wanted to make a mutual degree or mutual programs, you had to have the faculty come to each country and you had the students come to each country. Otherwise, I mean, how do you have a mutual degree of studying in both universities? Today, I mean, it's just no problem. I mean, two people, one professor from Israel, one professor from a university in the United States, they can lead online together the same course. They can speak together to the students. I mean, could you imagine something like that 30 years ago, 20 years ago? I mean, one is here, the other is over the ocean. At a certain time, I have the evening, you have almost a lunch, or almost a midday, and they will, one will be at night, the other will be in the evening, and they will teach the same class at the same time together. So it is a system, and it opens opportunities in a certain way. One, I mean, I'm talking very much in favor of, but being a little bit critical or even a little bit modest and hesitant on all of that, you can imagine that once knowledge will be so easily achieved, part of the higher education system will become irrelevant. Because if, for example, okay, you have a university in Harvard, let's take those nice institutions. Once you had to go all up the mountains or fly all the way to Boston. Today, let's take, for example, in the law field, okay? You know, like we say in Hebrew, Adam karov etzel atzmo, somebody is very close to himself. So when I speak, you know, spontaneously, so all my associations come from my field. So there's a wonderful, wonderful course at Harvard Law School by a professor named Sandel, who is teaching philosophy of law, and it's known as the best ever course ever. It had 1,000 students in a big hall in Harvard and so on and so on. Let's assume that it's online, okay? who needs another course? I mean, if it's online and he opens it and you can teach it in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv anytime, so why do you need a doctoral student to teach it? On the other way around, you don't want to have only one person teaching. You want people to develop and emerge. So the quantity, it's not only that the quality will change, but in a certain way, the quantity will change, because if we have something very good, okay, so you'll have another 20 emerging, but you will not need another 200 to 2,000 emerging, okay? So I think that like 10 years from today, we will look back, we will look at what we had a day before Corona, at what we really had within the years really changing. I think we're going to find something completely different in way, quality, and quantity.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting. I didn't even think
Science
about
fiction,
that.
science fiction,
Really,
science fiction.
really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Can I go back for a minute? The practical things about Corona or COVID-19, let's use the scientific word for a moment. Again, Israeli scientists and institutions, and we hear from Weizmann and other institutions are doing a lot to try to find medicine or inoculation for the coronavirus. And also in the US, we hear a lot of things happening. So can I ask, is the Council for Higher Education, assisting with it, whether with budgets or otherwise assisting with the infrastructure and connecting the institutions in Israel and to US institutions? And if you heard of anything interesting that's being developed?
Okay, so the things work with us and without us, modestly speaking, okay? First of all, the universities within themselves on their own, without any pushing from top down from us, took upon themselves to make adjustments and really to take all the capacities that are within their research institutions to divert them to do anything that can have relevance to Corona. Okay, so if somebody in biology can have something that has to do with vaccination or with the testing or with the technology needed for the testing or whatever. For example, I know that Hebrew University, Tel Aviv universities, I say that they had 60 groups of researchers working on issues that have relevance to Corona. Okay, so it's amazing. It's just amazing what's going on. So in that sense, it came, and I also know that they collaborate. As of now, we know that they were improving, very big improvement in breathing machines. How do you call them?
Ventilators.
Ventilators that were missing, and it was like they found a lot of technology very easily to manufacture them very fast and very cheap for the benefit of the people, and it came out of research within the institution. And I know that everybody is working on the vaccination and on anything that has really to do it. And they do collaborate between themselves. The universities like Hebrew with Tel Aviv, with Weizmann, with Technion, and so on. There's a lot of collaboration, much more than there is in everyday life. It's like time of war. I mean, everybody is not thinking about themselves. They really think about the issue, emergency, and in emergency, really all the facade and all the fighting between the institutions is stopping, and they really try to help each other a lot. And I know for sure all of our researchers have contacts in the United States in research. The collaborations are very, very strong, so for sure they do it. So this is one direction coming top down from the researchers, from the institutions, and it happens. In addition, we really support also the Israeli Science Foundation. The money comes from the government, and we give money to the Science Foundation, and we really put $2 million instant fund, because we had also philanthropy coming and giving right away too. So all of a sudden we put a $4 million research fund for Corona, a very fast procedures in order to make a research happen, and it's already in the field. I mean, the applications were made, the winners won, and it happens already.
Wow, that's for Israel, $4 million is a huge.
It's a lot
amount
of money. It's a huge amount of money from one day to the other for research, yes, and it's out there in the field. People have it already, and it works. So let's hope כי מציון תצא תורה. Let's hope that the message will come. A friend from New York called me. She said, all you smart people, can't you find there anything just to stop this horrible thing? So I said, well, we're working on it very hard. And we pray very much that it will be Israel for.
And I know we were, but I didn't realize it was 60 different projects, which
at
I'm
one
sure,
university. There are many all over at Weizmann, Technion, Bar Ilan, Bersh, everybody, they're all into it.
Yeah, we can just be hopeful.
And pray.
And I'm going back to practical issues for the universities. In the US, many higher education universities and colleges announced that they're not even sure that they will open their fall semester on time and will not open in September. And you said that in Israel it's a little different. We anyway do it after. But do you envision now opening on time, or do you think there'll be further delays to the next school year?
So I think it depends. What happens now in Israel is very interesting. Actually, we were really very, very strong, closing all universities, and everybody was really teaching from a distance, and almost nobody came into campus, okay? Now, still, the rule is that this semester is distance learning. That's the general rule. But a week ago, last Sunday, we were allowed by the Ministry of Health to have small classes of up to 15 students if needed. For example, if like we had a problem with Arab students, that for them Zoom learning was very difficult for them to follow the language. So for example, if we have a group of our students within a course and we want really to bring them in campus in order to give them some additional help so that they don't stay behind and they don't fall from the studies, we can do it. To laboratories you can enter, to some kinds of not too big, okay? So little by little we're going back, and this will probably be until the end of May. Let's assume that we go slowly back until the end of May and we see that everything is okay and we don't have a second round of virus and we don't go back. I believe that in the summer, because we also have a summer semester and we have a lot of foreign students coming to our summer semester, I assume that we are aiming at being able in the beginning of July to be able to start our summer semester. So it's all like we say, nisui v'tiyah, experience and control, experience and criticism. So the assumption is that we will be teaching the next semester at the universities. And already we will make adjustments with distant learning, but the basis will be back in campus. Praying.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds very optimistic. And
yes.
You touched on this subject, and a few people asked about it. So I'll just ask you about it as well. Exactly, the Arab students in Israel, and if you said, for example, if it's going to be digital, it might be open to the not just people in Israel, but our neighbors and in the world. Can you just say a few words because we got a few questions about Arab speaking and Arab students in higher education in Israel, and just with how they can also benefit, because you said maybe an issue that they might have with the Hebrew, but maybe how they can benefit or are benefiting today from digital.
Okay, so yes, of course. So let's say the following. First of all, one of my messages coming to the United States, which was supposed to be and hopefully will be next year, was the idea about speaking about how successful we are with the Arab population in higher education. We had, the Arabs are 21% of Israeli society in general, and most of the years until a decade ago, they were just 10% of the students. So the potential was just half of the potential. Now we took upon ourselves this last decade with great leadership of Technion and with a lot of support of philanthropy, but then governmental money came in, to make it a goal to make the part of the Arab population within higher education proportional to their part in population. And we say that we want to reach in 2022, 17%. We didn't say 21%, 17%. We all, as you know, we are in 2020, not yet in 2022. We have already average 18% Arab students, 21% Arab students in Technion. They were the first to lead this program, and they reached now. Technion is very hard to be admitted, and there is no affirmative action. They're not being admitted because they're Arabs on lower grades or anything. We make everything to help them get to the point that they can be admitted. And once they're admitted, we follow within the studies to see that they don't fall, but they do not get any excuses of anything. And they are now 80% of the students. So we're very successful and we're very proud. And I think that this is the future in Israel, and we are very, very proud of this achievement. Now, what happened during the Corona was that since they have support in campuses while they study, social support, mental support, language support, any support needed, and we give money for that. We have people working with them, okay? Now they all stayed behind, and all they had was really the screen. So some of them were really saying that they had problems to follow up. And one of the things of us speaking as the Ministry of the Council of Education, speaking with the Ministry of Health, was to say you must open the campuses for capsules of students, for many law students, because, for example, the Arab population is going to have a very, very big problem. Think about the Bedouins. We have Bedouins. I mean, they don't have computers at home. They live in tents in some place, okay? So we said, at least open up for these students so that they don't stay behind. And we got the permission on that. So we are very attentive, and we want them very much to be successful, and hopefully they're not going to suffer. We try to make our best as far as health allows.
That's very good to hear, and it really not to forget exactly different communities and different people that we all need to not fall behind and have any part of
not only the strong population, of course. Of course.
And so another question, you know, we are talking about the different opportunities that Americans will have studying in Israel, maybe online, maybe part online. Can you, due to the travel restrictions, will Israeli universities and colleges, what will they be offering next year to especially international students, but especially we're interested in students from the US who want to partake either in a semester or a year or a whole degree in Israel?
So I hope, I don't see my audience, but I envision their faces, okay? So I'm now speaking to them from my heart. Up to now I was speaking from my mouth and from my brains. Now I'm speaking from my heart, okay? And I want to tell them with all my heart that myself and all my colleagues, the heads of the universities and colleges, want very much American students within our university. It's a goal of our 6-year plan, and it's a goal for the state of Israel. And we believe that if they get to know us while they study with us, they're going to be part of us and part of the Jewish people. And we want them very much with us. We do understand that it's going to be very difficult next semester, that it's going to be quite impossible. And all the serious institutions take all their international plans and start them online so that students that were planning to come to Israel will be able to start the semester with online learning. And the minute that reality changes and they come to us, we're going to wait for them in the airport with flex and take them with cars to the universities. But in the meantime, they can stay home safe and sound. And many, many projects will be there. And Tammy, you know how much I appreciate the work of the consulates and the embassies, especially in the world, but especially in the United States. And what an important part they play as really a communicator to the American Jewry, and use us. We will give you for the people that for them to look for me is difficult, but for look for you is much easier because you're next to them and they know you. and we will provide you with all the information. I believe Marissa, that is working for me, I don't see her, but she's probably here in the shade. So Marissa will gather all the information from all the institutions to tell you where you can start all your studies and all the courses and all the projects that you wanted to do on international studies in Israel. And please don't run away because of Corona. No way, we need you. We need you all, and we want to have you, and we're going to give all the information and make all the efforts to make it possible for next semester.
That's good to hear. And for the audience also, one, we're all aware of, and you spoke about it quite a bit now, about the Israeli academic excellence that there is. And also Israel is quite a safe place to be now with Corona. When we see the numbers worldwide, it's definitely Israel. And can you say a bit what we can expect in the virtual academic fair that is being organized?
Excuse me, I couldn't follow.
Sorry, the virtual academic fair that you are having. Can you tell a bit what we can find there, perhaps, or what information?
Of course, but since Marissa is running it, maybe she can go online and really give the information, can she?
Marissa, do you hear us? Okay, I can't, but what
I think I can share my screen, maybe.
That would
Marissa?
be excellent.
Yeah.
Marissa?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do a screen share. Everybody can see the fair. And then we'll send the link as well so that everybody can go in. Let's get the right.
Yeah, and while you're putting it, I think we want people to take a look at the link, and we had some specific questions about tuition and prices, and, and I think if you go to the fair, it will be, you will get these specific answers for the people our participants are asking. But here, Marissa, I'll let you speak.
Tammy, I couldn't hear you well. Can you just condensely repeat what you said?
Yes, I said that we had some questions, practical questions about tuition and cost and study in Israel.
Fine, okay.
And the virtual fair, I'm sure we'll be able to answer these questions for the people.
Right. One thing, whatever, as much as we're going to charge, it's going to be so much less than in the United States, okay? That's for sure. But for details, you will have about all the programs, how much they cost, and what's the cost of living in Israel. Our team, heading Marissa and Emma and all the wonderful, it's women, excuse me, all the wonderful women that work on this in our offices, will give you all the information detailed, and just, we are all there ready to absorb you and absorb your children, and we're waiting for you. We want you to come.
Yeah, and the fair is going on. It started today. It's going on as we're speaking for the rest of the week. As Professor Zilbershot said, we will share the link with everybody. But you see here, it's beautiful. I love this. And
it's beautiful.
It really, really is. So please, please join us. You'll definitely get more information. But if I just may, for one, because our time, well, we're a little bit over, but Professor Zilbershot, as always, I think as the chair of the Planning and Budgeting Committee of the Israeli Council for Higher Education, you really gave us a broad perspective to what is happening in Israel right at the moment and about the future plans, which I found, I learned, and I'm hoping the participants learned about where you're embracing the technology and the new reality to further promote and enrich Israeli higher education. So I really want to thank you and your team for organizing this, for taking the time. If you have one last message for us or something, we would be very happy to hear.
First of all, to thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a big opportunity for me and for my team. And second, first of all, to wish all the people that are listening to us a lot of health. Take good care of yourself. Don't rush any place. Take the time just to think. And on the other way around, you should know we have excellent, good institutions in Israel, and we will make it possible for you to get to us as soon as possible, either via online learning or physically, Be'ezrat Hashem, in Yerushalayim, Abnuya, very, very soon.
for us
So
too.
all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so,
you very
so
much.
much.
You're very welcome.
Stay
All the
safe,
best.
everybody.
תודה רבה. תודה.
תודה.
ביי ביי.
שלום.
להתראות. שלום, שלום. ביי ביי.